You'll watch until the end of the video and your heart might just go 3 sizes. Um, what are we talking about today? I want to marry a man stronger than me. Oh, okay. What is this series? Well, it's not an isekai or a fantasy or anything. I know I do those most of the time, but hey, I wanted to change it up a little bit. This series is like a romance comedy, I guess you could say. The basic idea is this character, as well as this character, both have like secret identities as delinquents. Currently, she's like the student council president, and he's just like a loner who has no friends. But they're both like extremely tough delinquents. You know, they could like beat up 10 people in a row or whatever. But they're kind of hiding it. The general gist of the series is this girl, she became a delinquent just because she wanted to marry someone that could best her in a fight. And she figured that would be the easiest way to find people that, you know, knew how to fight. And the main bulk of the series is, I mean, early on, I'm not spoiling anything, this guy is found out to be like basically the most powerful delinquent. You know, he's like a superhuman, basically. And, you know, she finds out, and then she ends up falling for him. And basically the story is kind of her just falling for him more, and she's trying to convince him that, you know, he should confess and everything. Basically, she wants like a knight, so she wants him to be like, you know, kind-hearted, powerful, all those things. And then she'll slowly see them more and more, and then she's, you know, slowly likes him more, right? That's the general gist of the series. It's basically just her trying to woo this character, as well as them going through different perilous situations in order to, you know, further how much she likes him. This is kind of what he's like, what he's in his delinquent outfit. To show that they're a delinquent, basically they just wear the freaking jacket over their shoulders, and like all of the delinquents basically do that. I don't know. It's a little bit tropey, but it's meant to be like kind of like a joke, I guess, like a more comedic take on the whole delinquent idea. They're not necessarily like beating each other up all the time or anything. It's more so just, you know, she likes a tough guy. He just so happens to be a tough guy with a heart of gold. So she's exactly what she's looking for. He's exactly what she's looking for. You know, there's other characters throughout the series, like this girl's introduced as like a Gyaru, kind of like, you know, that kind of thing, where like it's a girl that cares about her looks and things like that, but she ends up going through this terrible situation, and then these two come in to help her, and then, you know, she ends up kind of, not necessarily, you would think like, oh, maybe she loves him or whatever. There's some of that, but it's more so like she sees these two liking each other and kind of chimes in periodically. But, you know, whatever. Her character's kind of here, neither here nor there. She's just kind of like the third prominent character. Overall, what is, you know, the through lines of the series, you know, she's a delinquent, he's a delinquent, they find out each other's secret, and then they kind of, you know, carry on a relationship from there. Basically, the start of the story is, like, we see the main character, the guy, the main male lead, and then the female lead. The male lead's getting bullied. She kind of chimes in to help him out. But she doesn't know, you know, he's super powerful or whatever. They end up hanging out before she finds out about how powerful he is, and they kind of become, you know, friends, right? But she ends up getting in a sticky situation. He comes back to help her, and then that friendship kind of blossoms into more of like a love from the female lead's point of view. Because she's exactly what he was, you know, he is exactly what she's looking for, basically. It's like, you know, the dream significant other that she was always looking for. and that's basically the main storyline, I guess you could say, of the series. And it's basically just her trying to get the male lead to like her back, trying to form that love, if you will. As far as like story progression goes, it's pretty like linear, I guess. It's like, oh, they meet each other, form a little bit of a bond, find out each other's secrets, and then we see like the basic romance plot. It's a slightly different take where it's like, a little bit about fighting and different things like that. I've seen it before. I remember one where there's like the school rumble or whatever, and the main girl has to go into a school dressed up as her, brother of some sort. And then, romantic bonds kind of form because people slowly figure out that, she's a she. And, this is kind of like a similar vibe where, there's a lot of fights and things like that, and, periodically the male lead will step in, periodically the female lead will step in, and it's kind of like an episodic situation where, like, you'll see different events where each one of them kind of chimes in order to solve a situation or set up a certain, positive ending, and they're kind of trying to help each other get through everything. I think, for the most part, it's just meant to be like a fun series. That's about it. I wouldn't say there's really anything super special going on in this series at all. It's just kind of like, silly, comedic fun with a little bit of action thrown in just to make it a little more interesting. It's also very gimmicky, like you'll see like a lot of the just basic tropes in romance and things like that. It's not necessarily doing anything super out there or unique or anything. It's just kind of trying to have a little bit of fun with a concept that we've seen before. Moving on. I know I didn't give you a rating off the bat, and to be honest, I think I might slow down on that. I'm just gonna do the SAE. What is the SAE? Well, it's story, art, enjoyment. Story-wise, it's pretty basic, but there are some unique elements, so I'll give it a 6. Art-wise, it's pretty good, but it's not groundbreaking, so I'll give it a 7. Enjoyment-wise, I think a 7's pretty fair. It was fun. So I mean, like if I was rating it overall, I'd probably give it about a 7. I think that's a pretty fair rating. It's fun, but it's not like blow your mind kind of fun or anything. Like the story, for example, like it's relatively basic. Again, like I said, it's not necessarily like it's not really breaking new ground. It's not doing anything that stands out to me, so it's not like, oh wow, you're gonna read this for the story. It's so good. It's okay. Art-wise, I would say it's pretty typical. Not really doing anything, again, stand out. It looks fine. I'm satisfied reading it. And I think the quality of the art's good, but like the character designs aren't really that stand out to me. It's the kind of basic student council president look, as well as like, that secret, basically main character, like male main character, that's what he looks like. Not really breaking any new ground there. But I do think it's like enjoyable for the most part, just because it's, it's doing those tropes to a satisfying level where it's not really like making me upset that I'm reading. So I think a relatively fair rating would be a 7. You could give it a 6 if you're like, a little more harsh on the whole tropey aspect, but to me, not really that big of a deal. I don't know. It's just, it's just all around like an alright series. I wouldn't go out of my way to read it or anything, but if you see it, I think it's a fun read, if you just have the time. But, don't go jumping around looking for it or anything. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the main gist of it. I think a 7 is a pretty fair rating. Yeah, I don't know. I'd appreciate if you could like, comment, subscribe, maybe leave another story you want me to read down below. Even if I've read it, hey, I'll read it again, why not? Yeah, I mean, I think that's about it. I'll see ya.